Okay, just a real quick joke for you guys. Why are Templars the best teachers in all of Ire? Because they give such great feedback. Sorry for that. Our Protoss player is shoWTimE! He's currently fallen to a mere 15th place in the entire world. He looked so good at BlizzCon. I know he didn't exactly go deep, but he was playing against the very best in the world and he looked really tight. His opponent is Bly. Our Ukrainian Zerg is ranked 36 in the world. If you don't know, Bly was a famed Warcraft 3 pro. Best known for mixing things up just to confuse the crap out of his opponent. Like putting your natural at your third, apparently. Anything to mess up your opponent for a half a second. shoWTimE's already got the scout with the gate and go. I doubt this slight variation will cause him to skip a beat. Our map, Triton, is what they call a macro map. It's big, tons of minerals everywhere, and a huge rush distance of 38 seconds. Typically, you think of that kind of map favoring a Zerg player, but shoWTimE is uber comfortable on macro maps. He is the consummate macro Protoss. shoWTimE's scout arrives and he's gonna see the timing on that extractor and spawning pool, but he didn't see a hatch on the way in. He's gonna immediately head out to look for it. I guess it's conceivable it's a proxy, but if there was, wouldn't he like have creep on his doorstep by now? shoWTimE takes no chances. He starts a zealot, but then he sees the Zerg's second hatch, sitting strangely at the third location. He then cancels that zealot and decides he's comfortable going for an expansion of his own. Yes, he is. I could stare into the precipice of that black abyss for the rest of eternity. No, I could not. I'd probably miss a lot of good Starcraft games doing that. shoWTimE Borgs his second simulator, and he starts a short rally point out of his gate, just as the core completes. That's gotta mean he wants an adept. Yes, he does. He throws on a chrono boost, and Bly's Overlord is gonna be just in time to see that development. Meanwhile, he's begun his third at his natural, and his spawning pool is now done so he can start his first queen and a second. He's also going to maturate a pair of lings. That chrono boosted adept is going to arrive, but we've also got shoWTimE's opening tech choice. It's going to be a Stargate. Hold a second, shoWTimE just made sure that the Overlord saw his adept go down the center attack path, and then shaded over to the left path so he wouldn't get spotted. Oh, but Blyce has his lings using the same path, so he's not going to be fooled. Except that the adept's going to bring down one of those lings and get the first blood. One ling escapes though, and if I'm not mistaken, there's no tight door at this point. Blyce is going to get to wander in and take a full look around. The adept hits the creep, and Blyce knows he needs to make lings. He makes 6 more. Oh, shoWTimE's second adept pops out of the gateway and snares that lone ling scout. He does not make it up the ramp, but shoWTimE's adept does. He's already got 2 ling kills. And yes, he's picked up a third. Now he wants a main-arting drone. He gets it. And the shade away. Bly's lings pursue, but they're still slow lings. Zerg really wants that kill so he can justify his losses. But the second adept shows up and makes the task all the harder. The lings are just getting shredded. And they shade away and escape just outside the Zerg natural. They're going back in. There's 8 ling kills on those adepts so far. Bly's decides this is a job for a queen. But now there's nothing covering the main. They're gonna try to shade in. They do. Actually, it looks like it's a job for a drone drill. Like they always say, if you want something done right, get a drone to do it. Those poor lings have got to be humiliated. Fortunately, they're about to get their wings. And speaking of wings, shoWTimE's already got his first oracle coming. Ling speed is not gonna help against that. There are no spores. Bly's retests the Protoss doorway, but there's a concierge adept. That ling's name is not on the list. But what about the 6 more he's sending? He might be trying to brute force his way inside. He is. There's just one adept. His second is still looking to pop. That damn needs a plug. He's gonna try it with a shield battery. No, with a gateway. The adept dies, but the wall in is redone. A second oracle arrives to help bring down the lings. He chases them off. Meanwhile, there's no kills on that first oracle. He got chased off by the queens himself. It might look like we just had a net neutral result here, but Protoss is up 15 workers. Bly is sprinting for lair tech though, so there's some sacrifices being made. This isn't all just the brilliance of shoWTimE, who is, by the way, grabbing gases 3 and 4. Zerg's still on his first. Oh, he's not going to seriously try that door again, no. It's triple guarded now. He's going to need more than lings. I mean, it is interesting. Zerg has gone lair before Roachborn. Bly's clearly has something planned for us. Whatever it is, he's still only got a single spore. He's relying solely on 4 queens to cover 3 bases, though the constant ling rushes are forcing the oracles to come back to defend. shoWTimE warps in another adept, while the 2 others guarding his third come in for the sandwich maneuver. But Blyze is just happy to finally have targets he can surround. They're gonna try to shade away, but unless an oracle comes, there it is! Oh dear, not only has shoWTimE started up his robotics facility, he's now got that critical mass of 3 oracles. If 3 oracles even so much as look at a drone at the same time, it dies. shoWTimE starts the Nexus at his third, and get his Phoenix to chase out the overlords, while Blyze is gonna get an infestation pit. The plot thickens. Infestors or swarm hosts? While I ponder, shoWTimE's gonna murder a queen. Triple oracle against no spores. Bly's starting them now, but there's already 8 drones dead. shoWTimE's also gonna get that important scout on that infestation pit. And a crap ton of drones while he's doing it. Bly's with the drone pull. He needs to retreat back to the queens. And all 3 oracles escape with 15 kills, and they spot the Hydralisk den. It's very close to completion. During that attack, Bly's made 10 drones to help neutralize the effect of that attack. But he's down 4 workers and a ton of army. shoWTimE's now moving out with his main force and an immortal. I'm not sure if shoWTimE knows it, but Queens is the only thing that Blyze has right now. This is a very vulnerable window for Zerg. Can Protoss capitalize? It looks like shoWTimE's going to split his forces. The deadly Oracle trio is going to get ready to harass the main. The main force is going to step onto creep. Blyze is picking up his missing gases and the Hydralisk range upgrade, but he needs units. But he's supply capped. He's going to need to make a huge round of overlords first. And he does. shoWTimE, on the other hand, finishes his Templar archive, and he completes a warp prism. His main force steps onto creep, using an observer to pick off tumors. He sends a hallucinated Phoenix to find out what he's potentially up against. And the 3 oracles strike! Pulsar beams assassinate drones! Blyze cancels all 6 of the Hydras he has in production. He either wants to hide them or he's going in another direction. shoWTimE's pulling back, satisfied with his 4 drone kills. If he knew Zerg had nothing but 3 queens, he might reconsider. Aha! Mystery solved! It's a Nidus network, ladies and gentlemen. And the Hydra money's all just gone into swarm host production. It's elementary, my dear Watson. Ah, but did you know, Holmes, that the Zerg was going to go for a 4th at the same time? shoWTimE's hallucinated Phoenix is just going to catch the outline of that 4th. And he's going to see the Nidus. That was a clutch scout. shoWTimE just got the whole battle plan. True fact, the gestation period of a swarm host is 29 seconds. The gestation period of an African elephant is 22 months. This has been a xenobiology moment. If you look at the minimap, you can see shoWTimE running his units side to side. He wants to find that worm. And he will! The worm starts right next to his observer. What a pro move. shoWTimE just knows all the hot spots on Triton. Bly's first worm is going to die before it ever has a chance to surface. Which is why he starts another one. We are playing post-patch here. shoWTimE fans out his units. He wants a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, and doghouse in the area. He's found it, but it's about to complete. Protoss converges on the worm and slays it. Nothing gets out. The good news for Blyze is the worms are keeping the Protoss army completely back. That all-important 4th is going up completely unopposed. In fact, it's going to pop right about now. There's that geyser of grape juice. I always feel a compulsion to grab a chamois and clean that stuff up. shoWTimE is 100% dedicated to worm stoppage. It's working, but it's keeping his vastly superior army back. Bly has capitalized. He's just finished a huge round of drones, and he's just about caught up on workers. And now he tries a 3rd worm, this time way back, almost in the middle of the map. The Oracle trio's on it. Zerg's gonna try to use the opportunity to kill the Oracles with his Hydras. But the Oracles kill the worm and escape. And now shoWTimE is showing signs of returning to the offensive. His warp prism loaded with zealots is heading down the right-hand side. Meanwhile, his main force is shooting down the middle. It's a zealot drop on the 4th. There's no additional warp in, though. 5 Hydras come to save the hatch. Bly redirects the Hydras to fight the main army, but the zealots flee anyway. The swarm hosts unleash the locusts to defend. shoWTimE beats a hasty retreat. You wouldn't think the Protoss army was that mobile. But when they see a swarm like that, they find a way. Oh, the locusts might just time out. Oh, this is cool to watch. Exploding blood bags. 3, 2, 1. My life was brief and futile. A very conservative worm starts up on the center left. How is shoWTimE finding these? It's not even halfway to completion before shoWTimE shuts it down. This dude really does not like Nidus worms. Meanwhile, he's taken a fourth, he's researching Storm, and he's close to maxing out. His 2 Zealot attack on the 4th is gonna fail, but his 6 Zealot attack on the undefended 5th is going to succeed. How did those Zealots run through a fountain of blood and come out perfectly clean? Psionic power and a fastidious sense of fashion, that's how. Oh, it's another worm to the top right! And there's an actual pack of lings to defend it this time. But shoWTimE's maxed with Archons and Immortals. He's charging into the heart of the Zerg. Bly might get a worm up, but he can't use it. He needs his Locust to defend. The worm does complete, but it stays empty. The Oracle Trio is gonna rip it down. Fun fact, the worm's armor actually drops from 3 to 1 after it completes. It's easier to take down that way. Bly starts another one even closer to the Protoss base, but shoWTimE's just going for the Zerg heart now. The Locust Swarm is timed out. It's just Hydras. They need to use the ramp to defend. Protoss has Attack Upgrade 2, Zerg 0. There is a ton of hit points on that Protoss army. Bly's been using his Overlords to buffer, but now he's supply blocked. They're not excess anymore, they're essential. He has to pull them back. shoWTimE finds the Banelings Bly's trying to make. He starts shutting them down. Bly doesn't actually have speed for those yet. The Zerg 4th base is completely shut down, but a Locust wave should give Zerg some breathing room. shoWTimE drops some storms and then pulls back. There's a definite rhythm and timing here. Protoss is coalescing its army at the foot of the watchtower. Oh, he's done running. He's just gonna take those Locusts down. And now shoWTimE's coming right back at the Zerg like a boomerang. A boomerang with power overwhelming. Without the Locust, Zerg does not have enough to hold. The Baneling hits need to be absolutely perfect. But there's storms! Tridents of lightning scatter the field. The Hydras just aren't built to take that kind of spray. And it's GG! Bly knows he's finished, he taps out! And shoWTimE is the winner of Game 1. And that was one of the best defenses of Nidus and Swarmhost I've ever seen. The only problem is in terms of educational value, I don't know how normal humans replicate that. shoWTimE used his harass to get a consistent economic and army lead over the Zerg long before he teched to Nidus. Then he got vision all over his side of the map to shut down every worm while simultaneously maxing out his army. And then he used time pushes and withdrawals to take advantage of the Swarm host cooldown. Simply put, if the Zerg needs his swarms to defend, he never gets to attack with them. Total number of Protoss buildings ripped down by Swarm hosts? 0. Let's go to...
Game 2.
And we're back. But hold on to your hats, because I just know this one's going to be a doozy. He's down a game. He's facing elimination. He is Bly! He's recently started going by the name Bly on Fire, but you figured that one out. Whoa. We got an early drone on the map. We better get this show on the road, because once again, things have kicked off early. He's looking to win the series. He is shoWTimE! Bly could be looking to do a hatch block here, but shoWTimE's already building it as natural. He's about to drop a gateway. There it is. He's also going to do a gate and go scout, which could be super valuable. But that entirely depends on what Zerg's actually doing. The drone appears to have found his spot. He seems to be waiting for his 300 minerals. But if that's a proxy hatch, it is far away. Usually with this, Zerg's looking to drop spine crawlers and creep tumors. It's too far for that. I gather the plan is to shorten his rush distance, but at the same time avoid detection. He may have found a sweet spot to do both of those things. Now let's see how shoWTimE reacts. Recall that in Game 1, he didn't see a hatch at the natural. He's seeing that exact same thing again. Bly's trying to give the impression that it's just lurking at his 3rd. The probe sees spawning pool extractor. This wasn't a 12 pool, so what gives? Well, it was just at his 3rd last time, so maybe it's there again. No! Protoss drops his core and sends out a 2nd scout. shoWTimE is suspicious. But it looks like he's checking for proxies too close to his base to find out where Bly's is hiding. And he's checked the 3rd. There is nothing there. We are officially missing a hatch. Excuse me, have you seen my missing hatch? It's about 50 feet long and purple and gray. shoWTimE adds a 2nd gateway. He's nervous. And that's a good thing, because that mysterious hatch is about to complete. Oh, That second scouting probe is on an intercept course for the hatch. If he doesn't pull off, he's gonna see it. The spawning pool is about to complete. He really needs this. And he gets it, just as it geysers into being. Queen production starts instantly, as well as a pair of lings. Also a queen being made at the hatch back at home, and a roach warren. Bly's has this all timed out. shoWTimE's already making a stalker. I know he's doing this blind, but a stalker does bonus damage against armored units, which is exactly what roaches are. And he's gonna add a shield battery. This looks like an excellent reaction, but his wall's not done, and the stalker's not being chrono boosted. Both lings get right in unopposed. But the stalker completes. Can it pursue? A stalker and a slow ling have identical speeds. The range of 6 on the laser should be the difference maker. Bly's is going for a probe kill. He gets it, and the stalker brings down the first ling immediately thereafter. And the second. Technically, that probe kill was our first blood. But those lings really were just scouts. Bly's making roaches, 3 at a time. But he's also researching ling speed. It's halfway done. shoWTimE's got stalkers 2 and 3, while number 1's gonna get the scout on that proxy. Oh, he doesn't want to stick around when those roaches pop. He wants his ramp, or at least his buddies. shoWTimE's also going up to 4 gates. And he's chrono boosting his warp gate research as fast as he can. He's also started a second shield battery, but the first 3 roaches have already popped. But Bly looks like he wants to increase that number before he strikes. This is getting tense. Who could have an opening warp gate ceremony at a time like this? Not us. Especially since the real story is, shoWTimE's planted a proxy pylon. He's warping in the depths for a counter surprise. Meanwhile, 3 of Bly's roaches are changing into Ravagers. We're about to have huge amounts of action on both sides of the map. Bly's streaming his lings south to join the attack. Will he have anything left to defend? Will shoWTimE have enough to hold once the corrosive biles start to fall? It looks like the adepts are going to hit first. There's the shade in. 6 lings rally right through the shade. Bly doesn't see it and the shade's complete. No, he does. The lings come back. But the adepts have reached that sweet spot in between the mineral fields. They go back to back like a Western movie. Zerg launches his own attack. Corrosive biles hit the stalker position. The Ravagers press forward, destroying the pylon guarding the door. And then he pulls back? No, he's just trying to draw the stalkers out and he succeeds. There's another volley of corrosive biles. But shoWTimE is in the clear. Meanwhile, the adepts claim 6 drone kills before giving their lives. And the stalkers clear out an overlord. shoWTimE decides another 2 adepts are in order. He's gonna warp them in from his undiscovered pylon. Bly's massing outside the Protoss base for another wave. He may not have busted in, but all of his Ravagers survived. It looks like it's gonna be deja vu. Once again, they're gonna be hitting at the same time. There's nothing at the Zerg main to defend but a queen. Bly fakes a drone drill and then goes for a drone pull. They're going around the mulberry hatch. Both adepts in pursuit. Bly's pulling his entire army back to defend. shoWTimE doesn't know it, but the Zerg hatch is defenseless. Speedlings with the cleanup. shoWTimE stalkers do make the right call. They come out and attack the proxy hatch. They're gonna snare the queen. Bly finds that pesky hidden pylon and destroy it with a flourish of overkill. Oh, look at this. Bly's got a pair of drones who are mining out the reduced mineral fields. He's just created a brand new surprise entrance to the Protoss base. The lings are going to get inside for what looks to be a nasty run by, while 3 more roaches go into production. The speedlings see vulnerable sentries, but the force fields trap them inside. Oh, it's fish in the barrel shooting for the stalkers. shoWTimE saves both his sentries, and he's made another proxy pylon to harass the Zerg. Only this time he's going to double it to 4 adepts. A hallucinated phoenix confirms there's still only a single queen defending that main. Bly lost all 15 of his lings in that attack, and his roach ravager just marched back to the front. This is too much for a lone queen to handle. shoWTimE already has a worker lead. This is gonna pile it on. There's an opportunity for shoWTimE to get a chokehold on this game and on this series. The Ravagers are coming back to defend. They are putting on some serious miles on their sneakers. The drones try to escape to the natural, but there's a shade there. 9 drones dead and counting. He cannot afford to lose another drone. Unless he starts building them at his proxy, he just doesn't have the larva to recover from this. And the Ravagers are here to shut this down. The adepts retreat to the north and continue to deny mining time. But Bly vents his fury, and all 4 adepts die. But with Zerg out of position once again, shoWTimE is free to finally get rid of that pesky proxy hatch. And as the deja vu phenomenon continues, the Roach Ravagers will eliminate the proxy pylon. That hatch is gonna go down, and surprise, surprise, there's 9 broodlings inside. They are faster than stalkers, but they only live for 5.71 seconds. Let's just say they make mayflies seem like creatures of great longevity. Now that Bly's is down to 1 hatch, shoWTimE is gonna go up to his second base, and to add insult to injury, he's gonna use the door that Bly built to get his stalkers out on the map. And those poor Ravagers have hauled their butts all the way back again. Oh, they see the stalkers. They'd love to hit them away from the shield batteries. Oh, great caustic vials trapping them in the choke. The wounded stalkers are forced to flee. shoWTimE's getting an observer so he can clear out some creep. Bly is saving his pennies so he can finally get that new natural. But shoWTimE is sending even more adepts. The Ravagers are running back. Can they intercept? Bly saw them shade away when he was killing those stalkers. No, he's too late. The adepts are going to slip in again. They see the timing on the natural, but they just want to reduce the drone count again. The Protoss mining per minute is almost double that of the Zerg. That poor queen needs help. He's building lings. Meanwhile, shoWTimE's grabbing gases 3 and 4, and he's even started an Immortal and the Zealot leg upgrade. The Ravagers are here to clean up again. No, this time shoWTimE shades out. Ah, but the Speedlings are on them to finish them off. The Immortal's about to join shoWTimE's army, while the Adepts just die. No! They shade away again! Those guys have seriously 9 lives. Bly spotted it though. He's gonna put his Roach Ravager army on it. He's like, I don't care if I lose this whole game. I'm killing those Adepts. No you're not. They're shading away again. Meanwhile, with an Immortal and an Observer, Protoss should be ready to head out. Oh, look at this. The world's most annoying Adepts grab the Zelnega Tower. Ollie ollie oxen free. Bly's trying to drone back up, but that means he doesn't have the larva to make an army. He needs to gamble that shoWTimE's gonna sit back in his base. To do that, he's got to at least posture some kind of pressure. Make him feel he needs the safety of those shield batteries. Oh, cool. He's scrounging up the leftover larva from his dead hatch and using it to make a couple of extra roaches. And he's gonna spend his money on increasing his Ravager count. That doesn't take larva. Oh boy, shoWTimE's making Archons. Not even caustic vials will be enough to stop those hit point bags. Protoss is moving out, his empty warp prism leading the way. Bly sees it. Is it a chance for him to sneak up the ramp? Oh, but what a pro! shoWTimE sends an hallucinated Phoenix to check his flank. He spots the Zerg army, and he knows he can crush it. A couple lings sneak up the ramp, but there's enough Zealots to deal with them. Force fields split the Ravagers. Bly can't escape, he's forced to fight. But there's way too much Protoss. It's power overwhelming. Bly on fire, taps out. shoWTimE takes the series. shoWTimE advances to the playoffs for HomeStory. Bly is eliminated from group stages. But he has eliminated the boredom from my heart. Because even though that midfield proxy hatch was a total disaster in practice, I totally love the thinking behind it, especially the setup. I just adore players who plan for a series instead of just the game in front of them. And that's what Bly did here. In game 1, he moved his hatch to his third, which seemed like a simple mind game, at least to me, but the purpose of it was to try to trick shoWTimE into thinking his build involved placing his second hatch at his third instead of suspecting a proxy in game 2. Unfortunately, a move that cool doesn't actually work on a top tier player like shoWTimE, and it also doesn't work on a low tier mook who can't appreciate that there's a deviation from the normal timings to begin with. But I bet this is a bang up strat against mid tier type players. But I mean, you're playing a Titan like shoWTimE at HomeStory. You gotta try something. Speaking of awesome tournaments, both shoWTimE and Bly on Fire made it into the round of 72 at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2020. It's the spiritual successor to BlizzCon and will officially be the World Championships in 2021. It's a double elimination bracket, so I'll be watching to see how deep these guys can go. They represent the very best of Ukraine and Germany, so go kick some serious butt, you two. So until then, let me leave you with this. Live life, because nobody wants to die in hold position. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Of course, you could always season upgrade and subscribe to Zug Zang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zug's weighing out.